This is content creators are getting the beats for clip farming. Let's watch this.
Doodle, I got set. This record? Is this record?
Now, mind you, this was yo, his face fried me throughout this whole thing.
What you say? Doodle, garbage. Oh, just real quick. We gotta go on. Somebody hugged it. It actually hugged it. What you say? Doodle, garbage.
No recording.
They was squabbling, boy.
Like I said, clip farming has gone way too far. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with the situation, it looks like DDG has had enough of the clip farms, of the nicknames. And to be honest with you, I think that this serves as a good and fair warning for those that are coming into any sort of place and space thinking they can just clip farm. Like I've been telling people on this platform before, clip farming is not a way to make a career. It's not something that's long lasting. It's not something that is fulfilling. And ultimately, like in this situation, it led to some sort of physical violence.
Yeah, it was bad, chat. Now, I see both sides here. Clip farming niggas that you don't know is so insane to me, and it's a terrible way to go about it. If you're trying to get popular, because like niggas is just gonna know you for being annoying. You're not gonna have a name. You're gonna have a name for being annoying, and that's not a good way to build a brand.
People don't realize these content creators can totally get upset with the clip farming and the name calling and the stuff that you get off. These people have real feelings too. So DDG gave people a fair warning just a couple days ago that if they continue with the clip farms, if they continue throwing these insults, if they continue with the name calling, then this is going to be the situation at hand.
If a fan came up to me on some doodle garbage, bro, I'ma hold that so goddamn bad, bro. No better.
Now, whether you believe DDG or not, this doo-doo garbage, you know, name calling or insult that stemmed from Bruce dropping him off in his beef just a couple months ago is clearly affecting. And I know that some people might think that he's soft.
Omar, you gotta do some more research. Omar. Look, nah, this is nasty pause. Omar, you gotta do some more research. It was so Illuminati. It was so Illuminati, not Bruce.
Or whatever the case may be, but the reality of the situation is if they don't know you, they're not going to tolerate it. And besides that fact, why do people think that this is the way to get content? Like,
it's
I
really
think that
not.
This is so short-sighted, and maybe they've been influenced by whoever and whatever, or whatever the case may be. But even like Agent says, something that I agree with, clip farming and doing this sort of content is something that is not going to build you an audience. It's not something that's going to be long-lasting, and ultimately you are going to be forgotten the next day.
Why they disrespecting him like that though? You gonna yap nonsense to it right in front of his face? You gotta be prepared for them consequences. It's not even clip farming, it's just being trolls, bro.
Yeah, and then also there's the thing. It's just like every action has a reaction, bro. You can't do shit to people and then be mad when there's consequences to your actions.
They're just trying to be remembered. They don't even give a how they're being remembered. Like, bro, you're gonna be remembered as I just chose to troll, bro, and then we will never hear of you again.
And I do agree with Agent, but the foundation of streaming has totally shifted in the past couple of years, where this is what people see as entertainment. This is what people see as the content. They believe that getting their name out there, no matter what, and no matter what expense, is the way to go about doing these things. But ultimately, what he's saying is 1,000% right. At best, this guy will be remembered as the guy who got snuffed out by.
Yeah, like there's very finite amount of people that got remembered for trolling a nigga on stream. Like the good trolls get remembered. So like right now there's a IRL sniper that does not speak to nobody. He just snipes them wherever they are and then just randomly hand them a Dr. Pepper and then leaves. That dude's cool. He's entertaining. That dude it's so random, but that's actually a decent clip farm. You know what I'm saying? That's a decent clip farm. Were you out here just calling it, bro? You know what I'm saying? You don't know these people. You calling them out their name and other shit like that. What are we doing?
Dub and whatever cameraman and DDG and his whole collective. At worst, he'll be back to punching the clock. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you did all this in an attempt to become famous for what? Now, I'm not advocating for physical violence, so I wanted to see what Dub and DDG and the rest of the gang had to say about this, because although I don't agree with people insulting people, I do want to give them the benefit of the doubt and hear them out at least.
Grab me, I hit the. So then I'm like, bro, what the?
It was like a large crowd, and security grabbed me. I'm like, bro,
I see Tiny sleep dog, boy. I'm like, damn.
yeah, my shit didn't even get on that.
Nah, yes it did.
No, it didn't.
Yes it did. I see Jason holding your camera and everything.
No, but I had no signal. I had 200.
Nah, your had signal when we did that skit.
Yeah, they said you didn't show anything.
Nah, I know, but still, like, you know how that be, bro. They banned Kelly for a skit, man. I ain't trying to get banned for a skit.
Now, I think DDG was really just trying to save face here. He didn't want to get banned from the con. He didn't want any sorts of issues with Twitch.
Even still, I think he might get banned, maybe. And the reason I say he might get banned is because at that point, you are still the aggressor. Like, yeah, you were getting trolled. You could have just told your security or something. They would have handled it. You know what I'm saying? You could have told your security. They would have handled it. But swinging on that nigga, you're the aggressor at that point. And it wasn't DDG who fought the nigga. It was his brother. So DDG might not get banned, but his brother, I think for sure, might get banned. I'm not gonna lie.
Any sort of lawsuit or anything like that, and he'll deal with it in the private eye. I think that he's a very strategic and tactical person, so, you know, doing those things, he's good at covering them up. But ultimately, at the end of the day, and I can give this perspective because I am literally on the grounds of DreamCon. I came down for the weekend, and I'm recording this video hours after the situation happened. None of this really did anything at the con. None of this shook the airwaves, and all this guy got was the brakes beat off him. He was so unmemorable after the situation, it's almost amazing, which has me thinking again about points that I've had in the past about clip farming and what it does for you. In my last video about Streamer University, I had a take about these new content creators getting into this lane and don't rely on clip farming because it is not going to be something that will benefit you in the long run. If you don't remember, there were some content creators who had broke into Agent 00's room because they thought that he was running some black market and wanted to play into this whole theme of I'm taking advantage of the black market, stealing from it. But they literally broke into his actual room where actual things are, and it did not turn out the best for these guys.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
What is Jay at?
Yeah, please blur that, because niggas' videos got taken down because of this. So essentially they broke into Agent's room thinking they were stealing the stuff that he was selling on the stream, but it was also like the black market was in his room. It was like he slammed him, like threw that nigga, bro. It was bad, bro.
Y'all think it's appropriate to come in my room while I'm not there? It's a difference between content.
Even in that interaction, No Limit Jay still doesn't understand the difference. Agent is seriously looking for him and voluntarily says, I'm right here. Now, I don't think he's being forthcoming and truthfully saying, hey, this is me, I'm No Limit Jay. I think he still thinks that this is still a part of some elaborate skit and scam, but he doesn't realize that he's crossed the line. He's literally broke into somebody's room, and all for the sake of getting a clip. Now, in Agent's sit down and hashing out of the situation, he gave No Limit Jay a warning, something that we've been giving out for a long time that a lot of these content creators do not understand.
I didn't think this was actually your personal room. They said black market. They said Asian black market. They said this room. So I came up here.
It has beds, it has things. Like,
no, I know, but I'm not thinking, there's multiple rooms.
There's,
if
you came in here and on some content, busted in the room. If I'm in the room, I'm saying.
Right.
You coming in here with a camera, you gotta think, we just minimize it. My analytics is up.
No,
my
I didn't come here.
Is up,
That's
my
what I'm saying,
counter, it doesn't matter.
I understand that.
You came in the room, you didn't know where the stuff was, right?
You're right.
Because we hit it.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't come all in these rooms like that. I was peeking around,
just
and then we
let me share some intel
and
with
then
you.
that's another thing, niggas. You trying to explain? Just listen to what this nigga is telling you, because you crossed the fucking line. Shut up and listen.
There's lines, bro.
And while I get what Agent is saying, and I totally wholeheartedly agree, we have to look back at what's been happening over the past couple of years with content creation and realize that a lot of the stuff that's going on today are from actions of the past, stuff that we should have stopped and nipped in the bud a long time ago. But because we are now here, we're getting mad at basically these new creators for doing these things that their favorite creators have been doing in the past. Like, they're convinced that this is their way out. Like, this is the way to get a bunch of money, and they're willing to do any and everything in order to get that money.
All right, y'all. I guess I'm getting fired.
We knew that.
Yes!
Wait, what?
When the fuck did I said the same shit.
Corey2U was a big success at Streamer University. You know, took advantage of the whole situation, had DDG react to him and his clip farming attempts, and it went over fairly well. He didn't put anybody in harm's way. But the idea of creating the content being just a continuous clip farm for what he says to be money, to me, just doesn't sit right. Because I have to ask, how far are you willing to go?
I went to Streamer U broke. My account was -6.
Yeah, see, also, everybody's looking at this as like some inspiration, but this is also very irresponsible.
112. My credit cards were maxed out, all because of content. I owed $322.50 on the Cash App. You know what's crazy, Chad? I had no bread to get back on that flight and check in any bags. I'm telling you, God is real, bro.
An inspirational story, but a warning sign nonetheless.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, there's something that is supposed to be more aspirational and inspirational to content creation than getting the money from doing said content creation. Because all that happens is you realize that the negative things, the clip farms, the over-the-top takes are the things that reign supreme. So you're willing to do any and everything in order to basically get it off. So once they start to learn that people like DDG are essentially the method, they're going to continue to rehash that over and over and over and over again, even if it means getting hands put on you or distracting from what is supposed to be a beautiful moment at something like Streamer University, where people are coming to actually physically learn.
Garbage.
Who said that?
You said that. You want to escort him out?
No, who said that?
No, I was answering this question.
Get out.
Leave on till I die. They talking about. I'm with Bruce. I'm a plant. What they talking about? DEO trying to die.
Another issue that I have with clip farming is that these people get so wrapped up into it, you know, instead of building the actual audience, but going for the clicks and the views, that it ultimately becomes their brand, and it can be damaging. I know y'all are tired of me beating this dead horse, but this is...
You know also what's crazy? Is that dude tried to clip farm DDG, but ended up being DDG's clip. Because, like, I don't... Who was that? And that's how most of it... That's how it's gonna play out most of the time. So this and this happened with DDG. It's not gonna be your name. It's gonna be like this and this happened to DDG. You see what I'm saying?
Basically the Zoe Spencer paradox. Going out there doing whatever it takes in order to continuously get some sort of traction, likes, or views, that it becomes your brand, to the point where you have the internet blasting you and calling you annoying for who you are.
I don't think Zoe's I don't think she's annoying. I think that's kind of her brand though, bro. So like if you're not comfortable around it, then you're not comfortable around it. But that's just her brand, bro.
Now with that being said, all of that could be true. It could be her brand, but at some point people are ultimately going to get tired of this persona. There's nothing genuine about you. You're just wanting to and willing to whip out a phone and a camera in order to capture any moment. And that could be at anybody's expense. And ultimately this will blow up. Right? There's nothing genuine about you. You're just wanting to and willing to whip out a phone and a camera in order to capture any moment. And that could be at anybody's expense. And ultimately this will blow over sooner rather than later. But right now, this stain on her image of being annoying or being some person who commits SA without any sort of context behind it is hurting her in a bigger way than it is helping her. Now with the clip farming at an all-time high, it begs the question, should there be some sort of ramifications for clip farmers? Now I don't know what that is outside of just a community shunning, and ultimately I think that the views will be reflective of the content that they put out, because what I've noticed this past weekend is that a lot of these clip farmers, a lot of these new age streamers, a lot of these people wanting to participate in this content really don't have a plan.
This was corny, I'm not gonna lie. Like, come on, bro. This was so corny. I wasn't really a fan of this, because why are you...
Test it out and take a picture in the photo booth?
I don't know, it's really free Tory, so I don't know. I said it's free Tory. We signed with my man's Tory.
They're just out there trying to...
Like, that was... That's like you're like, and that's what's so weird. It's like that shit has nothing to do with you, and that's what, you know what? Never mind. I don't care.
To get the most outlandish clips possible.
No.
Oh. Some fucking decorum, please. Can we have where is the decorum?
It's possible.
No, bro. Whoa. Hey, you guys.
Be a fucking. You're not gonna be a lady? Why? That's. Hi. Come on, bro. That shit's. Bro, y'all really think these people like somebody that's overly going? You're being easy in front of everybody. You're being easy in front of everybody, overly going in front of everybody. And it's not even like you just subliminally flirting and shit like that. You come on, bruh.
Hey, what's up? And it's going to the white.
DreamCon fan passed out after seeing Agent IRL. Oh, God. You know what? This actually deters me off of IRL streaming so bad. Oh my God. Like, I really don't even want to IRL stream ever again off of, like this. This is crazy.
I'm echoing my sentiments from the Streamer University video and live stream that I did just last.
That's how people were pulling up on Simba. Don't piss me off.
Week. Again, in this video, I saw a bunch of up-and-coming content creators. You know, people aspiring to be content creators.
Oh yeah, chat. Everybody was out there with a motherfucking... It looked like everybody was streaming, but the service in there was ass. So I think a lot of niggas was recording. But it looked like everybody was trying to IRL stream. I'm like, okay, I love that for you. Until I realized a lot of niggas wasn't engaged with their chat, or even they were just holding the camera while moving around. Always get a backpack. Yeah, I think I do want a backpack, low key.
Truly not knowing what they're doing, not having a plan, not having a direction, not having an identity outside of trying to get the best clip possible. What did that woman try to gain from telling Agent that he's so fine she would suck his dick? Like, I understand the moment and it's funny or whatever the case may be, but how do you go about building a brand on top of that? I understand the guy doing the fake pass out thing. It's funny for the moment until it's not funny for the moment, and it gets not funny for the moment very, very fast. These are people that don't have any sort of repackaging plan for their content, you know, throw it up, thumbnail, title. They don't have any way of feeding it to another audience. They are literally searching for and looking for the biggest content creators at the convention or at whatever establishment they're at, or whatever moment
I haven't checked in in a while
trying
because I
to
lost
get
the
some
key.
sort of clip from that. Like, how will that young lady go about uploading that video to a YouTube or to a Twitter? What thumbnail, title? I told Agent 00 I would suck his dick. I told the biggest content creators at the con I would suck their dicks. Is that content? I don't think that's content. That's just a clip. And that clip is not going to be long lasting. Ultimately, we knew that clip farming would get to a point where people were basically getting their hands and feet placed on them by anybody else because they are going over the top. And I don't condone what DDG, Dub, and the cameraman did to that young man today, but please let this be a warning to a bunch of people out there. Clip farming isn't content. Look, I want to take a second here at the end of this video to do something that I don't normally get to do. By the time this uploads and is out for a couple hours, I'm projecting that we will cross 100,000 subs.
Did you hit it? Did you hit it? Did you hit it? Did you hit it? Yeah! I don't have my buttons, but congratulations. Hell yeah, 100K.
Thank God. Finally, we did it. We made it as a community, as a whole. You know that I'm going to always say I could never do anything like this without viewers like you and the ability to share some of these videos. Thank you guys for sticking with me through the ups and the downs. You know, a couple months ago when I got some copyright claims, a lot of people were saying they couldn't see my content or find my content, but you stuck through it.
W video. And congratulations on the 100K, Brody. Yeah, just don't solely rely on clip farming to blow up or to even make good content, because after the clip farm, it's like they're gonna be like, all right, what else? And you're not gonna have nothing else besides the clip farm, bro. You know what I'm saying? W video though. Shout out to Omeezy.